I'm not going to roll these guys over. This is a roster that I wanted to build. I'm confident in these guys, and we'll build and we'll grow.
Well, I'm here at the Echo Fox roster day right now to interview Jared Jeffries, who I believe is the president of Echo Fox, right?
Yes, correct. I am.
So a lot of people that are watching my content, not all of them are sports fans, but you have an interesting career from before you got into all this.
Yeah.
Do you kind of want to recap a little bit about your background?
I will. I played 2 years in Indiana. I was drafted 11th by the Washington Wizards, played 11 years in the NBA. When I retired, I was able to have a 4-year career as director of personnel for the Denver Nuggets, and it kind of groomed me to where I am now to become president of Echo Fox.
So why get out of traditional sports and get into eSports?
Just to have a chance to see growth. I've always played games. It's one of those things that's funny. My little brother always laughs. Like, that was me and his connection. Where I'm 6 years older than him, and our connection was always video games. And being able to have a chance to move into this space has kind of been like a lifelong dream.
That's rad. Let's talk a little bit about the roster, because I was told by Jake that you were the guy to talk to about the roster. Because I've interviewed a ton of the other management and owners at these different teams, and they told me how terrifying basically this 48-hour period was of talking to all these different players and trying to figure out where everybody was going, and you didn't get any sleep. So what was it like for you?
Like I said, I was very lucky to be groomed for this. The free agency in the NBA is very similar. You kind of have everything lined up, you're prepared, and the staff did a great job. I mean, Jake, Nick, Denny, Jim did a great job of preparing everything for us. So once free agency hit, it is nerve-wracking before you start getting these guys signed, but we were able to get those guys, and once it kind of fell into place, everybody signed up and everybody was excited.
And why, how did you arrive at this specific roster, this lineup of players?
It's funny. If you could see our book, we had all of these guys actually in our book to come together, but this specific roster we never talked about. Yeah. So I mean, it just kind of happened. One guy led to another. It kind of started with Dardock, and he knew Phoenix, and then Dardock also knew Adrian Altek. Then Adrian knew Hooney, and all those guys kind of had a piece where they kind of touched each other, and it just came together.
So a lot of the criticism that people have levied, actually after my interview with Rick, he asked me, Travis, what's your prediction? I told him pretty straight up that what everybody's been saying about this roster, and I think it's fair, is that it will either blow itself up or blow up everyone else in the NALCS, right? You got a bunch of guys with big personalities, big egos, a couple quiet guys, but for the most part, a lot of people have said crazy stuff about these guys in the past. So everybody's kind of like, man, what is Echo Fox, thinking? This is a crazy high risk, high reward kind of deal. Yeah. Do you view this roster in the same light?
Yeah, I think that we're a very talented group. But one thing I really did, all the criticism they had was everything was all in-game. Yeah. Nobody said anything bad about them off the field. And that's one thing I can deal with. As long as they're good people and all these kids are great kids, then we'll figure the rest out. We'll put the right support group around them. We'll put the right people around them to help them reach their highest potential. So I really didn't have any fear. And once again, coming from traditional sports, there's no chance they can do anything that I've seen in the NBA. So the worst kid in this is probably the best kid in the NBA. Okay. So it doesn't scare me at all because I know that they're all good kids. Yeah. And as long as they're good people, we'll figure the rest out.
There is, for a lot of teams, they look to kind of handle the mental component, the teamwork component with people like sports psychology trainers and that kind of thing. How are you guys looking to make sure that the team can sort of stay together and make everything good, even whenever there's like a rough patch or a downturn or something?
I think that franchising will help a lot. Yeah. These kids were always fighting for their lives, and if things didn't go right, the fear of relegation made owners roll guys over really fast. I'm not going to roll these guys over. This is a roster that I wanted to build. I'm confident in these guys, and we'll build and we'll grow. This isn't a situation where if we lose, 2 games in a row that our season's over. No, I mean, we're going to have a bigger picture and a bigger site in place. We're going to have sports psychologists, and I'm also a big person on team building. We're going to do training table. We're going to do meals together. We're going to do outside things. And I think also having a player house and this facility here, these guys have a chance to get out of the house. Whenever you're stuck in that house all the time, this is a weird environment. I've never heard of a team training in a house and living in a house. You got to get outside. You got to do other stuff. And I think that these guys being able to have space from each other, be able to come here, interact, in different areas, go to training, go to meals together. I think it helps you not get tired of each other.
So for a lot of people, especially on the League of Legends side, because he was around so early, they kind of view Rick Fox as like Echo Fox and all that. Now you guys have grown, and there's so many other teams and so many other people helping to run the show here.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious for you specifically, how much will you be involved, again, acknowledging the other teams that you have in the League of Legends space specifically and with this team and hang out with them and being at the NALCS on the weekends, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I try to go to different events. Being president and having different teams, I fly out and I go to different events. I go support our fighting game. I go support Gears. I go support Call of Duty. I'll go to the LCS stuff, but that's also why I have a great staff. And, I try to be hands-on when it comes to the business side of it, acquiring the rosters, doing that. But when it comes to most of the in-game stuff, man, that's their job. Yeah. And I take a step back, and I'm just a casual fan cheering for my team.
Sure. On the teamwork side, are you going to also be looking, like let's say at some point in time there's a conflict between the players or something. Do you let the coaches handle that, or are you able to sort of bring your personal experience, just because you have a wealth of experience, like you said, on this side kind of stuff? Do you get involved and kind of have these conversations with the guys?
Yeah, I do. I have conversations if problems arise or they have questions. They know my door is always open, and but I don't want to be seen as getting too involved in there. I mean, if it's a large issue or they just want to talk about something, I'm totally fine. But it's also my staff. It's their job to police most of this and police it, especially anything in game, any of those arguments. That's not my job.
One of the kind of neat things that I've seen, looking at Overwatch League a little bit and sort of the way they've announced all their teams, but now, after that happened and seeing the way Riot was able to unveil like their 10 teams once they've gone through the franchising, everybody's kind of creating this unique identity for themselves. What are you looking to do with Echo Fox to kind of make the team stand out among the rest of the NALCS teams this year?
What we did, I wanted a talented roster. I think that I wanted a talented, aggressive roster. And you look across most sports, right now, the most aggressive offensive teams win. And I feel like we put together a very aggressive team, especially with Best of One this year, that's going to compete at a high level.
What are your expectations for the team, especially once, potentially you unlock the international level?
I think that this year we should be a playoff team. I really do. I think with our talent, it's up to us as a org to put the right support around them. But as far as our talent, I don't think anyone would argue how talented we are.
So in my interview with Rick, it's funny, he referenced, he's like, in the sports world they never do this, but in all my interviews I always give an open forum at the end. If there's anything you want to say to any of the fans, anything you want to say to anybody out there that's looking at Echo Fox this year and kind of scratching their head or getting hyped or excited that, Hooney's back off of his World Finals match and here on the team. So anything that you want to say to anybody out there?
Just be ready. Be excited and cheer for us, man. I think that these group of guys, we're going to put enough content around them that you'll get to see the personalities come out, and these are great kids, man. They're going to do great.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the interview. Always a pleasure. Yeah, thank you so much. And for everyone else, you can check out the rest of our coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel.
TravisGafford.com/support. Save me.